Now, I've always had a love-hate relationship with Ayaneo. Some of their devices are amazing, like the Pocket Fit here. Some of their devices are dead on arrival, like the Pocket Air. And some of their devices are weird, underpowered x86 machines that look like a refrigerator from the 1950s. But by far, the worst thing about Ayaneo is they don't respect their customers. What other company leverages crowdfunding so heavily, while at the same time taking away any possible benefit or reward from their early backers? In fact, not only are they taking things away, they're actively disincentivizing people from using Indiegogo to buy Ayaneo devices. Anyway, get your scones and your little finger sandwiches ready, because your old buddy Zoo is about to spill the tea, as the youth say. And I'm going to tell you why I'm absolutely done with Ayaneo. Since I first dipped my toes in the retro handheld hobby, sites like Indiegogo have been a necessary evil. Honestly, a decent percentage of the early devices in this hobby involved some sort of crowdfunding. It was just the way things were done back then. But as the hobby has moved on, a lot of companies have hopped off the Indiegogo train. Now, AYN still does it, and it bothers me. It bothers me a lot, because they're a big company. They have their own storefront. Just sell your products. But at least with AYN on Indiegogo, you're going to get it early. You're going to have some sort of exclusivity. You're going to be the only game in town for a while until they put it on their website. And I still don't think AYN should be using Indiegogo. I don't think they should be using any sort of crowdfunding. Bold take time. I think crowdfunding should be used for little individual one-man operations, like that guy that built the Game Bub. With Game Bub, it's literally just one guy. He's chasing down a dream, and if it falls apart, you don't lose your money. There's no real risk to you. He's just really sad, and his dreams have been scattered. That being said, if bigger companies are going to use crowdfunding, it should really be reserved for niche or super weird oddball devices, like the 1X Sugar. If you're making a weird device like the 1X Sugar, maybe use Indiegogo to see there's only like 47 people that want to buy it. And then maybe don't make it. Or if you have faith, it's a passion project, just make 200. And we'll see once we get to 175 if we have to make any more. If we get to 175. But a company like AYN, they know when they make a dual screen AMOLED beast, it's going to sell. When they make the third in the Odin series, it's going to sell. You don't got to run it through Indiegogo. Just put it on your website, sell it through the normal store, take 5-10% off as the early pre-order special, and just call it a day. And then you got Ayaneo. They had a pretty good year. They made a couple of really good handhelds, made a couple of not so great handhelds, but that's how it is. And if they were like Anbernic, that'd be par for the course. But Anbernic, for as much as the community likes to dump on them, they actually ship things. When was the last time Anbernic used crowdfunding? Huh? Was it never? It's because they have a functional storefront. They have multiple AliExpress stores. They figured it out. When was the last time they even had an issue with stock? The 35XXSP? And that's because it went crazy. Everyone loved it and they bought 4 or 5 each. I had to get one in each color. And then like a week later, they were like, hey, here's more colors and more stock. They figured it out. I mean, think about it. Anbernic is a solidly budget company, and they figured it out. They don't have to rely on Indiegogo. They don't have to screw around. They make a product. They put a video on YouTube. They say, here's the unboxing. They play that weird country and western music. And then a week later, you can order it. And then you get it in another week. It's not that hard. And then you got Ayaneo. And Ayaneo is centered square in my crosshairs today because of 2 of their devices. And they're not bad devices. They're actually really good devices. This one, the Pocket Fit, is in my top 3 handhelds of the year, and depending on my mood, it is my handheld of the year. And then you got the Pocket Air Mini, which just showed up, and in my early testing, it's kind of amazing. The issue is how they handled the sale and distribution of both these units. They're both budget devices. They're both at the top of their game in their respective areas and what they were built for, and they're both examples of the worst way you could possibly manage an early backer campaign. Outside of Ayaneo just up and stealing our money, I'm not sure how it could have been worse. First up, the KONKR Pocket Fit. This device showed up out of nowhere, and it just slapped the Odin 3, slapped the RP5, it hit the RP6 so hard they haven't even made it yet, and it's just knocked out pretty much every high-end Android device out there, because it is really cheap comparatively, and it's really powerful. Now, this is a review unit. I got it in October, and as soon as I got home, I went out and I made 2 pretty long videos on it because I really liked it that much. It's amazing, and it's also apparently extremely hard to manufacture and ship because, by God, Ayaneo cannot find a way to get units to their early backers. What's that? I've just been told it's actually not hard to manufacture and ship because Ayaneo was able to send a sizable amount to AliExpress stores and to Best Buy. That's right, Best Buy, that big old store at the mall where you can buy computers and a stove and a refrigerator and a TV, all that stuff. They got the KONKR Pocket Fit. Okay, so what? People overpay for stuff on Amazon so much, we call it the Amazon tax. You pay a little more, you get it fast, and if you don't like it, you can return it. That happens all the time. What's the big deal, Zoo? Well, the deal is that some people who bought this early on Indiegogo still haven't received theirs. And you know what Ayaneo did instead of shipping it out to the early backers? They prioritized drop shippers. They sent boatloads, truckloads, plane loads, however they want to get it from China to the store. They sent it there and they said, hey, you, early backer, I don't care about you. You are nothing to me. Get all right, so that's bullshit. But maybe it was a one-off thing. Nope, because now you got the Pocket Air Mini. Just like the KONKR Pocket Fit, they sold this through Indiegogo, and just like the KONKR Pocket Fit, they did the same thing with shipping and drop shippers. I ordered this on October 17th, and then I waited 2 months to get a notice that it was shipping. And I thought I was lucky, because I got the notice this was in the first round of shipments. I said, oh, maybe I'll get it for Christmas. No, sir. It sat on a dock until the middle of December. Then they finally put it on a boat, and I got it a day or 2 after Christmas. All right, whatever. Shipping delays are part of the hobby, and it's not like I went with DHL or the express option. I went with 4PX. That's the cheap one. So why are you complaining, Zoo? Well, I'm complaining. I'm pissed off because my buddy Rob, the Retro Tech Dad, ordered one from AliExpress right around the time I got a notice that mine was finally being put on a dock. Middle of December. He got his in 7 days. He got his from AliExpress before mine that I paid for in October showed up at my house. I was an early backer. He got his faster. And oh, by the way, he might have paid less than me when you figure out all the shipping costs. I think AliExpress gave him free shipping. Not cool. It's not cool. In fact, it really pisses me off because I floated Ayaneo capital. Not a lot. $100, but I gave him $100. I said, hey, when you make these, send one to me. I jumped on early. We have kind of an implied arrangement here. And they said, no, we don't. We're going to send a whole bunch to drop shippers. Get Zoo. And it's somehow even worse because at one point, Ayaneo was selling the Pocket Air Mini for the Indiegogo early bird price on their website. So people who could just wander onto the website, oh, by the way, they do have a website. They have a website with a store. And if you manage to use it, you got it for the same price I did from backing it early. What the hell? I'm not even going to get into the whole Western versus Asian market. I'm not going to talk about tariffs. I don't know enough about that stuff to give you an informed position on it. What I will point out, what I will bring to light, hopefully, is when a company treats their early adopters so bad, when they treat their paying customers this poorly, especially in light of people being able to snag something like a Pocket Air Mini here from a U.S. warehouse from AliExpress before I get mine that I paid for early. It's bullshit, it's unethical, and it needs to stop. Oh, and by the way, quality control issues are no longer the exception that proves the rule with Ayaneo. I'm going to let Stubbs explain it in his Pocket DS video, but suffice to say, in addition to the absolute bullshit you have to go through as an early adopter to get your stuff, you might also play a secret gotcha game when it shows up. Maybe one of your joysticks doesn't work. Maybe one of your triggers doesn't work. Maybe the screen isn't seated properly. Who knows? It's a surprise. I don't know. From what I can tell from their videos and their live streams, Arthur, the CEO of Ayaneo, seems like a genuinely cool dude. He likes Fire Emblem, which is cool. He does these 5-hour-long live streams with crazy energy that he probably gets from just 17 cans of Coca-Cola or, I don't know, trucker-strength no-dos from the gas station if they have that in China. But using his company as some sort of payday loan thing while you give them money and they give you nothing in return for months and months, that's bullshit. It's absurd, and I'm done doing hype stuff for them. Sorry. And moving forward, we're not going to be accepting any review units from Ayaneo until things change. We'll source our stuff from AliExpress or maybe some third-party dropshippers we've had luck with in the past, like Acnes. That's going to mean you don't get to see cool sneak peeks. You're not going to get early access. but it's worth it. We need to tell you what's going on with Ayaneo, because it's become evident that Ayaneo is prioritizing dropshippers, third parties, and even other markets over their most devoted backers, over the people that floated them a no-interest loan through Indiegogo and then get shit on in return. So that's where we are. It's probably going to put a dent in our ad revenue, but who cares? This isn't my real job. It's not Stubbs' real job. It's our hobby. And I bring it up just to let you know, but I don't want anyone to feel the least bit sorry for us. We have a pretty cool hobby. We get access to all sorts of cool toys and electronics. It's just, I'm not going to sit here and be a hype man for Ayaneo when they treat their customers so bad. And maybe if enough people take this stand, Ayaneo maybe change their business practices. But I tell you what, I wouldn't hold my breath. So I do have my Pocket Air Mini, and I've played around with it for a little bit. It's pretty cool so far. I'm going to try to do a neutral review. But I tell you what, I'm never going to recommend you order it from Indiegogo. It could be the best handheld in the world. Just wait. Because you're going to be able to get it from AliExpress, from Acnes, from anywhere, from Best Buy, faster than you can through Indiegogo, which is ridiculous. So I guess it's time for What Did We Learn? And we learned that Ayaneo is kind of a company. Now, they've made some solid as hell devices this year, including a contender for Device of the Year, but their business practices are abysmal. Their business practices are locked in, like, I don't know, May of 2020, the early COVID days when no one knew what the hell was going on, and you're sitting in your house and you wanted to play old video games because you haven't left your premises in 3 months. Things were chaotic back then, but everyone else has moved on, except for Ayaneo. They've gone backwards somehow. Now, shipping delays are a tried and true part of this hobby, but I tell you what, Ayaneo has risen to new levels of scumminess with their recent practices. They're quick to take your money, and then they vacillate and they drag things out. Well, actually, there's a delay. Well, we're going to have to slow it back by a couple weeks. All while they're sending out just truckloads and boatloads of stuff to AliExpress, to other drop shippers, to Best Buy. And I don't begrudge the drop shippers. They're actually doing something of a service where they get the product and they sell the product and you receive the product. What a novel concept. All the while, Ayaneo's sitting there taking your money and doing nothing. Anyway, it's been kind of a bummer video. It's been an angry rant. And I don't like to do angry rants. I like to do, I don't know, this thing costs $45 and I can play Super Nintendo on it. Isn't that neat? It's kind of my style. I don't like to be super critical, but by God, Ayaneo, they pushed me over the ledge. KONKR Pocket Fit was bull, but then the Pocket Air Mini immediately afterwards, it's too much, and I'm done. I have no doubt killed the Ayaneo review pipeline with this video, but who cares? I'll get it from Best Buy sooner than I can get it from them. I'll get it from Acnes or AliExpress. Who cares? Anyway, if you liked the video, maybe you appreciate my honesty, remember to like and subscribe and all that jazz. I do my videos every Wednesday. We got the podcast on Mondays. We do a live stream on Thursdays sometimes. And who knows? Drop in. Maybe you'll see something you like. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.